Resiliency, who last week ran their record to 10-3, thereby making the playoffs for the first time since 1994. Now here they go. In their 13 games, they've allowed only 175 points and 15 offensive touchdowns allowed in 13 games. Holy Dick Butkus. Today, the Bears try to keep their one-game lead in the North by winning at 6-7 Washington, but they'll have to buck a little more history because the Bears have lost to the Skins 6 straight times. Don't worry. There are some games when they've won at Washington. I think they won 73-0 in 1940. By the way, the Schwab had the Bears that day. I'm counting it in this year's scores, too. There won't be any scores like that today. We gave you Bears defensive numbers. Meanwhile, the Skins, remember, once 0-5 have allowed just 13 points a game in the last 6. Happy holidays, Jaws. I assume you left your abacus at home. You don't need it for this game.
Oh, Boomer, there you go, putting those big words on me. But I do know what an abacus means. And happy holidays to you, the gang, and everyone else out there. And you are right. This is a meeting of two pedestrian offenses. And what Chicago likes to do under John Shoup is basically use their short passing game, well, as an extension of their running game. And by using those crossing routes, picks, and rubs and screens on those early downs, what John Shoup is able to do is augment that road grader rushing game.
You have to win on first down against this football out there. When they throw the ball on first down, they don't throw it very far up the field. And they have completed almost 70% of their passes in the area that's 10 to 12 yards up the field.
When a team run the ball on the first down and it sets up 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3, it just opens up their playbook so much. When you stop them at 2nd and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be play action pass where or going to be a regular pass where you're going to run the ball as much.
For the Skins, one thing is certain. They are in a must-win situation today.
We're still in the chase. The worst thing in the world would be is if we stood around and tried to wait to see what happened.
If we have the buts about it, we put ourselves in a situation where we have to depend on other people to win or lose for us. So that's the hole we put ourselves in.
I don't know when's the last time I seen an 8-8 team go to the playoffs. It might happen, but that's not how we're thinking.
It's not college where you got to try to go to bowl game. You try to go to the playoffs and get everything.
For the Skins to stay in the playoff hunt, they are going to need an efficient, mistake-free game from quarterback Tony Banks. And against the Bears' pressure-style defense, Banks must manage his offense properly and keep them on schedule. And Sterling, you know what that means? In other words, stay out of the known passing situation. Don't be afraid to throw the ball away, and don't be afraid to punt.
Oh, yeah, and don't be afraid of the Bears, too, Josh, who come into this game trying to maintain that short road to the Super Bowl, which is playing 2 games instead of 3. And then what the Bears have to do in this football game is depend on their veteran leadership, which they've done all year. This is a game you can't afford to throw away.
It's the same story with the Skins. They're mirror images of each other.
They're not mirror images of each other.
It's the A-Train, it's Stephen Davis, it's Tony Banks, Jim Miller.
7 times inside the 31-yard line, got 6 points. This is not the same team.
Don't make a mistake offensively, play pretty good defense.
Time of possession, drop 8 football. I'll tell you what, man.
Easy.
Hey, that looks like an ad campaign.
He bugs me sometimes. He bugs me sometimes.
That happens sometimes with Sterling.
He can do that.
Can't we all just get along?
You know what, though? Let me change the subject for a minute. How come Jaws and Santa are never together at the same time? And by the way, Marty would want us to remind everyone, the job of Santa Claus is to go down the chimney with the gifts. So Marty,
Well, one thing about the Bears that is different is that if you're going to bring a dominant defense into the playoffs, you're going to go deep. I think that the Bears are doing that. The offense, on the other hand, it's kind of like an X factor that you don't really understand. It's like the movie Shakespeare in Love when they're trying to put the play together and they don't understand all these problems and how does it work out. And the guy says, it's a mystery. It's kind of like the Bears that way. It does seem like it's a mystery. How do they score enough points to win all those games?
Just like the Baltimore Ravens, who ended up winning the Super Bowl. It was a mystery.
The job of Santa Claus is to come down the chimney.
Our viewers didn't see Shakespeare in Love, Steve.
2 out of 3. For the answer, we go to Matchup, sponsored by Hyundai, and authored, as always, by the guy I go to, for all my questions, and that would be, of course, Tom Waddle. Right?
You know, I told you earlier I do not expect the Bears to let down, but me personally, I'm mailing it in today. I really am. I spent most of yesterday and last night celebrating the Bears' return to the playoffs for the first time since 1994, so, guys, I really have no idea what you're about to see.
Professional.
Well, I
guess that line on Main Street starts behind me. The Bears broke out of their offensive rut by getting open, throwing the ball better, catching the ball, and blocking the defenders across from them. Simply put, better player execution, meaning John Shoup is no longer public enemy number one for now. Anthony Thomas should carry the load again today against a generous Redskins run defense. As for the Skins offense, despite a number of playmakers, they averaged just 14 points per game. Stephen Davis is the NFC's leading rusher and the focal point. When the Redskins fail to run the ball well, Tony Banks struggles mightily. Rookie wideout Rod Gardner is worth keeping an eye on. It's been a while since I've said the following. The Bears get the edge on offense. Last week, the Bears offense got all the attention, but the defensive effort did not go unnoticed. They were, in a word, dominant, and the impressive statistics are starting to pile up. Losh's guys allowed just 14 points per game. Rosie Colvin and Philip Daniels both have 7 sacks, and the secondary has combined for 10 interceptions. Postseason honors certainly will follow. The Redskins will get after you as well, with a nice mix of youngsters and veterans. Up front, Marco Coleman and Bruce Smith provide leadership. LeVar Arrington is in charge of chaos. Arrington is the Skins' leading tackler, has 1.5 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries. In the secondary, Champ Bailey is a Pro Bowler, Fred Smoot is an all-rookie performer, and Darryl Green is a Hall of Famer. Despite the tremendous Washington name power, the Bears get the edge. Both the Redskins and the Bears field excellent special teams units. Maynard gives the Bears the edge in punting, and Mike Bates and Eric Metcalf get the nod in the return game. Overall, this is a draw. Today, the key to a Bears victory lies in their ability to run the football, which means Thomas versus Arrington, 2 of the league's top young players. The Skins allow 124 yards per game on the ground, and the Bears must exploit them. It's been 7 long years since our heroes have visited the postseason, and while we, the fans, enjoy the intoxicating buzz of the newfound success, the unlikely heroes set their sights on the NFC Central title. Dick Duran, already the front-runner for Coach of the Year, can seal the deal by leading his team to a strong finish. And why would we expect anything less? This team has character, following each loss with a win and never losing to a lesser opponent. Don't look for a letdown here, not from our Bears. At 6-7, it's the Redskins that are due for a rollover. Bears 17, Skins 13.
Take it to the bank. Take it to the bank, baby. I love that. Gary Fencing, one thing that's been bothering you mentioned to me before the show, is the Redskins' return game. The fact the Bears didn't look so high last
Well,
week.
you know, Tom, you said that it's kind of even on the return and on the special teams in general. An anemic offense with Washington, they need to rely on Metcalf returning punts on their special teams overall and their defense to put the position, the field position for their offense in place. And here, I mean, it does scare me because they had some good returns Tampa Bay's offense did last week.
But don't forget, if you have to go out and do some Christmas shopping today, Tommy's already told you the score, 17-13 Redskins, so don't worry about it. Coming up, George Halas didn't want him to marry his daughter, but he finally got the okay. Talking about the chairman of the board emeritus, Ed McCaskey. He talks and sings next. Brian Robinson finally going to the playoffs. We'll talk to the Bears defensive end coming up.
Who's going to go? Will late-game heroics salvage the G-Men's playoff hope? Did the Bears spoil the Skins' postseason plans? In a battle of 7 and 6s. Are the Bucks in good hands with Allstott?
When you're talking about linebackers, you start with Ray, 1A, and then you go to 2. Now, there's no 1B.
Would Ray's actions speak louder than words in Baltimore? While Marshall made some noise in Carolina. The Steelers have their sights set on a first-round bye, while the Pack's still trying to get their foot in the door. Don't try to fight it. NFL Primetime.
NFL Primetime is presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to NFL Primetime Special Holiday Edition. Tom Jackson, Chris Berman, from all of us here to all of you, happy holidays. Have a good one. What would be in some stockings, some playoff berths today, Tom?
Well, I think it's odd the way people are getting the playoff berths, not necessarily walking in the front door.
Well, Saturday, a big day. It is Sunday, a little jockeying. A couple of teams hoping to stay alive. Met in New Jersey, 7-6 Seattle, 6-7 Giants. Jim Fossil, could he guarantee his 7-7 season, knowing that the Eagles lost yesterday when they would stay in it? Well, a year ago, question, who do you draft when you came to the pick? Ron Dayne was drafted by the Giants ahead of Sean Alexander, both first-round picks. Alexander now starting in because Ricky Waters is hurt. Wow. 29 yards, 7-0 Sheebag. Later in the first, Ron Dayne says, wait a minute. This is what he can do. Watch him drag Willie Williams into the end zone, 31 yards, 7 all. 6 minutes to go, second quarter, 10-7 Seattle. Now the fun begins. First, Matt Hasselbeck does an Michael Barrow, strip. Michael Strahan, ball. Giants, touchdown. 14 to Dreamer.
Yeah, and watch the rush by Michael Barrow all the way around the outside, comes past the end, past the tackle, and then the great pickup by Michael Strahan and the 13-yard dash to the end zone.
But about 2.5, 3 minutes later, Kerry Collins play action from his end zone. Antonio Cochran strips it. John Randall, the veteran, falls on it for his first career touchdown, 17-14 Seattle.
You have to know where you are. You're standing in the end zone, protect the football, something Kerry Collins hasn't done this year. Cochran makes the strip, and John Randall makes the pickup.
Cochran always good on defense. You always remember that. Collins out with 18 fumbles, the record in 1 year, Tony Banks 21. Ron Dixon, second half return of the kick. Ball! All flying Miranda falls on it. And then the little dump off. Matt Hasselbeck to Sean Alexander. Look at him, motor 16 yards. Seattle leads 24-17. Giants have gotten a field goal 24-20. Jets, Philadelphia Eagles 3 times in the Giants. Very deep. Fabian Bones had a lot of hits with an Funicello many years ago. Does a good job there in the special teams. And so from their own 4 with 3 minutes to go, the Giants need a touchdown. And it's Collins to well-dressed Amani Toomer, 28 yards. 2 minutes to go from the 43. Joe Jurevicius, first down inside the Seattle 40. Minute 15 to go on second down. Collins, Ike Hilliard over the middle, first down. 42 seconds to go. Collins, Hilliard, sliding. First down, timeout, G-Men. 33 seconds to go, first and goal from the 7. And Anthony Simmons almost makes a big play to save the game. Oh! But he can't hold on. Second down, Collins to Jurevicius. Ken Lucas is there on the defense. But on third down with 24 seconds to go, Collins, Ike Hilliard, touchdown. Last week it happened against Arizona. Mike Holmgren said, my God, they did it again. Yes, they did. The New York Football Giants have even their mark at 7-7. Seattle now with the same record. The Giants win at 27-24. Kerry Collins, 30 of 47 for 338. Most important, the winner you just saw, he's with our Sal Palantonio.
Kerry, second straight week, winning touchdown drive, final minutes. Tell us about the touchdown pass to Ike Hilliard.
Well, got one-on-one on Ike, and we just put him in the middle of the field and basically said, get open, and I'll throw it to you. And Ike's a great player. He did a great job on that play. Just gave me a place to throw the ball, and I was able to put it in there.
What is it about this team, this offense? You are poised in this situation 2 weeks in a row.
Well, you got to be, you know, and you go through things, and you realize you just got to keep fighting regardless of the situation. And I'm really proud of this team. I'm proud of the character we've got. You know, we've been catching a lot of heat this year, and we're still not out of it. You know, we fought our way back into it, and you know, anything can happen from here on out.
Now you got to go down a turnpike and play Philly in Philly.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a war, you know, and we got confidence. You know, we're coming off of 2 wins that, you know, we're out of our reach, and we came back and got them. So we'll go down there, and we'll give it a fight. We'll see what happens.
Thanks a lot, Kerry.
All right, Sal, thanks.
Back to you, Boomer.
Kerry, Sal, thank you very much. Happy holidays. But we should say this. Look, they're not the team they were last year, the New York Football Giants. I mean, we all know that. They know that. But I think the character, sometimes it's overspoken, Tom, but they didn't get to the Super Bowl last year for nothing and then forget what it took.
Yeah, sometimes I think you can learn more when a team is struggling. And I think right now the Giants are showing that character in every way. And this is the kind of game that they needed going down the stretch run. The last couple of games, I think they're in a must-win situation every single week. But you got the 330-plus yards from Kerry Collins throwing the football. You had a pretty good day today from Ron Dayne, and I think it's very important on a team that likes to play field position and move the chains that he played well as Tiki Barber. Defensively, Usually Strahan comes up with a big play, 13-yard return for a touchdown. They played the run well. They did everything well, just the way I think Jim Fossil expected for most of the year. They need to now have it going down the stretch, especially against Philly.
Well, hey, look, the Giants are at Philly next week. They're 2 back with 2 to go. Then they host the Pack. Their odds are still long.
That's correct.
2 quality teams. But until that Monday night game earlier this year, they had owned Philadelphia. So they like their chances a little better than they did last week. As for Seattle, they really need the Jets to lose on Sunday night to Indianapolis. They still would need some help, but they play 2 teams with below 500 records, San Diego and Kansas City. Here we go now, the big crab cake. The Baltimore Ravens smarting last week after the Pittsburgh Steelers spanked them. And here come the Cincinnati Bengals. Ray Lewis, Takeo Spikes, Shannon Sharp, a lot of war of words. This week, why is it always that way? But anyway, Elvis to Sharp, Spikes with the tackle. Sharp and Spikes talk about it. The Bengals can play some defense. They just, since the first month, haven't won too many games. They want Terry Allen scoring a 4-yard run. It's 10-0 Ravens. Now, a lot of question this week for who would be the healthy Bengal quarterback. John Kitna was, and he goes for 6, but double coverage, and Dwayne Starks is there to pick it off in the end zone in a 10-0 game. Dan Kitna, late in the half, gets doinked, and it's Ray Lewis with a 30-yard return, a little help here.
You know, Kitna didn't make too many outstanding plays today, but I thought that this was one that just didn't go his way. He gets up, he tries to knock the ball down. He understands what's at stake, just happens to knock it to Ray Lewis.
And the Goose on the sidelines, not playing, but congrats. This history-making, if you will, for the first time in 51 games, Baltimore gave up a 100-yard game rushing. Corey Dillon was the first one to do it in 51 games. Amazing, amazing, amazing. 127 yards. But then the merriment continues. Nothing deflection, and it's Ray Lewis. And look at Ray Lumber with the football, Tommy, with a bit of a convoy, thinking he can score, and he almost does.
And the thing to take note of, these interceptions, at least 2 of them, are taking place in the red zone when you have a chance to get a score. You have to come away with points, and I think Kitna understands he has to be careful with the football.
Goose, for a big guy, moves around, doesn't he? He's up there with Art Modell. A first shutout of the year for Baltimore, which was so impressive last year on defense. They beat the Bengals 16-0. The last 3 years against the Bengals of the big crab cake, 75-0. But they do give up the 100 yards. And offensively, well,
yeah, I think that it's the kind of game the Ravens are used to winning, the kind of game the Bengals are used to losing. Now, 4th and 21, the last play the Bengals ran was an underhand 3-yard shuffle that Ray Lewis almost picks off. You have to plan better if you're going to win in this league.
After going 2-0, the Bengals are 2-10. Baltimore ups himself to 9-5. When we return, Jacksonville of Minnesota, final game at home this year for the Vikings, and we had a lot of good receivers to watch. Moss and Carter, Smith and McCardell. Second play of the game, Vikings. Remember, Culpepper knee surgery. Tony Bracken up the middle to flex, on Bauman's pass, injuring his thumb, which was already injured on the next play. Hit by Gary Walker. You know what? The Rolling Stones sang Under My Thumb, and he was gone. Bauman gone, and into the game came like a Spurgeon wind. You can figure the rest out. Meanwhile, Stacy, 20 yards. That would set up 1st and goal. Jaguars, their 3rd straight road game, usually a tough spot for any team, but yet, you wouldn't know it. Stacy, 3 yards up the middle, touchdown, 10-3 Jacksonville. 16-3 third quarter, Mark Brunell, Keenan McCardell. It's a touchdown, 23-3, now 26-3. And for the nice dunk, and for the 2nd time in his career, Jimmy Smith, 100 catches.
He's an amazing receiver, an amazing story this year with some of the problems he's gone through to have the 100 catches this season.
And then Stacy up the middle for a touchdown. Mack had a big game, 111 yards. Chris Carter looks to be his last game at the Metrodome. He says he's leaving the door open. He might be playing somewhere else next year, but not in Minnesota. The first time, and this is a testament to Denny Green, but at 5-9, it's the first time in his 10-year head coaching career he's going to finish below 500. They finished 2 on the road. They like the way Jacksonville's playing, even though they have nothing to play for.
No question about the wide receivers, the passing game, the quarterback. You get the support from the running game with Stacey Mack. You're going to be an effective offense in this league.
Bills and Falcons. Atlanta still with some hopes. They need help, but they're still with some hopes. Chris Chandler trying to provide that help, but meanwhile, Alex Van Pelt pitches to Sean Bryson. And look at the motors on this big fella for the Buffalo Bills. He can't go off the way. 68 yards, 20-16 Bills in the third quarter. And there's Mom. That's nice. 12 minutes left. Chandler to Algie Crumpler. Beats Plankton on the play. It's a touchdown. Falcons lead at 30-20, 49 yards. Later in the game, Van Pelt has rung up some good numbers in replace of Rob Johnson, who's...
Don't listen.
Oh, don't tell him anything. Van Pelt's doing fine. And down 30-23, Van Pelt to Reggie Germany. A united Germany. Ever since the wall came down, he's played better. He's out of bounds at the 3. Then, 3rd and goal. Van Pelt to Eric Mold. We're tied at 30. But Dan Reed says, wait a minute. Didn't you see the 0? It should be delay of game time.
You have a look at the clock right there. Clearly, we're going to freeze it. You see people in motion. The snap has not gotten up. They were late with the snap. Dan Reeves was right.
You can't review it, but look at the job of replay is to correct a wrong, and they were wrong. It shouldn't have been a touchdown, but it was. It's 30-all. Meanwhile, Chandler to Terrence Mathis. Chances are Falcons on a drive. Chandler to Brian Finneran beginning it. Timeout. It's going to be a long field goal to win, though. Jay Feely, rookie, from 52 yards. Man, did he whop it. His 4th of the day. It's good. And look at Feely, touchy Feely. Good, and you know what? You win a game, you're a rookie. There's no problem jumping around.
Yeah, I think that we expect that kind of reaction. You see the enthusiasm that Dan Reeves' teams play with, and I think that even though this has not been a necessarily successful season for the Atlanta Falcons, I love the way he gets the most out of his players.
And so, Feely, the rookie from Michigan, one of the heroes. What about Chris Chandler on the day? 429 yards throwing. So the Atlanta Falcons still with a shot. The Atlanta Falcons. Is he skiing? Is he climbing Mount Everest?
Cliffhanger.
Doesn't look comfortable. LaDainian Tomlinson, boy, did he start out with a great first half of the season. Been kind of quiet, but the rookie had a $1.45 today. This set up a Flutie to Jones touchdown. 7-all at the half. Chargers leading 17-13 in the 4th. And Trent Green, 5 minutes left. In the shadows of Arrowhead to Jason Dunn to the midfield strike. Then on 3rd and 4, it's Green. Was that a 3,000-yard season, although mixed with a lot of strange ones. This is the Snoop minutes.
This is basically what you're describing here as their season in microcosm.
Green scrambling. That is going to take it all the way down to the 9. The next play, San Diego's lost 7 in a row. Can they win one? Green chased. He's picked off by Leonardo Carson, number 96. He has in his hand the final envelope. But wait a minute. Roughing the passer on Rodney Harrison.
Rodney Harrison, who hurt Trent Green 3 years ago in a preseason game. You see here, certainly doesn't look like he did very much to him. Flew over the quarterback, gets the call from the officials.
But now 2 plays under the Chiefs still have it. And it's incomplete in the end zone. But wait a minute. Now it's 37. Harrison holding on the play. He cannot believe it. My God, we went through this all last year. And now with the ball at the 1, it's Tony Richardson, a touchdown. The Chargers were 3-0. They were 5-2. We were singing. Everyone was having fun. And now San Diego's dropped 8 straight. They fall to 5-10. They have a bye the last week of the season, so they only have 1 game left next week against Seattle. You wonder whether Breeze will play at all. They'll just play Flutie, but Kansas City wins a rare home game.
Well, and I think you see Kansas City's ability to throw the football, the ability to be successful, as Dick Vermeil likes to say, the mini Rams. LaDainian Tomlinson with the big day. That was missing too much of the season for San Diego, along with inconsistency from one Doug Flutie.
It's a small step with the Chiefs out of the basement for the first time really this year. Lions and Steelers. Lions have won once. Steelers are 11-2. For Christmas, a Super Bowl ring. Well, the Steelers win today, they'll get a bye. At least a bye. Not home field yet. Cordell, this is Mike McMahon hit by Joey Porter. It's a fumble. Jason Gilden, Mustard. Wait, I can't say that in Heinz Field. Gilden in Heinz Field. Jason Gilden, 27 yards, 7-0 Steelers.
Yeah, Joey Porter up top with a nice swim move. Going to go backside and come around. Jeff Backus make the strip of the ball right there. Jason Gilden, these linebackers enjoying an outstanding year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nice pick up of the ball and takes off.
Meanwhile, Cordell Stewart, remember Bruner got hurt, so that means Truman is the #1 tight end. This is Matt Cushing, the backup tight end now. It's a touchdown, 14-7 Pittsburgh. Lions, Mike McMahon, the rookie, played at Pitt. You know, when he was at Rutgers, this is a little different. Aaron Smith strips him. Earl Holmes recovers. More Steeler defense, knowing that McMahon might cough it up.
Yeah, you have to know when you're in traffic. We talk about it with the quarterbacks all the time. McMahon right there doesn't protect the football. Gives Smith a chance to get a hand on it.
And then ensuing possession ends up this way. Cordell with play action. He's the action, and here's the play. 2-yard touchdown, Chris Brown. Uh-oh. Missed an extra point. Missed a 48 and a 38-yard field goal, 20-7. Stewart to Hines Ward. What a year he's having. Should be a Pro Bowl receiver. 27-7 Pittsburgh. And then Stewart dumps to Chris. Fuamatu Mafala. He's a big Mafala.
Shut your mouth.
I'm talking about Mafala.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
54 yards. It sets up a field goal Brown actually made from 37 yards, 30-14. Then Stewart to Hines Ward in Pittsburgh. Lynn Swan, one of the Hall of Fame this year. John Stallworth, certainly could and should. This breaks the single-season reception mark for the Steelers. Big Ben actually had it. 86 catches right there for Hines Ward. Congratulations. Meanwhile, Mike McMahon. Oh, boy. What happened here?
Well, you just very seldom see this from a professional athlete. And you see Jason Gilden rushing to get that sack as you saw McMahon trip over his own feet.
And then this is not the XFL, but this is Tommy Maddox. Oh, my goodness. Tommy Maddox. I'm going to call Dan now. No. Tommy Maddox actually scored in the Steelers. Hey, look, the Lions, they're doing their best. But Pittsburgh rolled 47-14. Last time they were 12-2, 1978, a Super Bowl season.
And I'm going to say it right now, Cordell Stewart, and I don't know what the criteria will be, but he is a possible MVP candidate in this league.
And obviously, Pittsburgh just one win away from home field throughout the playoffs of the AFC. When we return, Jets win. They'll really be in good shape for a playoff run. They're at the Colts in Sunday Night Football. Here we go to the nation's capital. The Bears at the Redskins. Washington's beaten them 6 straight over the years. The Hogettes and Santa, they don't look like elves to me, okay? First quarter, 3-0 Bears. Kajana Carter. We've been waiting like 8 years for this. All of a sudden, he's had some good games, good runs. 10-yard run, Stephen Davis. And it's a powerful man, Tom. 10 yards as he breaks 3 tackles. Second and goal, Davis cuts inside. No one there. Hard to run on the Bears. The Redskins did it on this drive. 7-3 Skins. Laid first, Jim Miller. Pretty nice out throw, actually, to Marty Booker. That's their distance, 10 yards. Second quarter now, Leon Johnson. Ex-Jet. Now, pretty good. Look at the cuts he makes. 32-yard touchdown. The Bears lead at 10-7. Tough defense, Chicago. This is not news. A lot of good players. Some whose names are just starting to know, like Roosevelt Colvin. Sacking Tony Banks right there. And this is Philip Daniels from the defensive end spot. They had 6 sacks today, Tom.
Yeah, they did a great job of bringing pressure, and I thought that they made a nice adjustment. Redskins running early off the edges. They took care of it. Guys, great job by Brian Urlacher.
But the score is 13-10 Washington. The A-Train, second-round pick Anthony Thomas, powerful 8 yards. Next play, gets the block up, actually bounces outside. Very locomotive-like 8 yards. And now, the play of the game. 10 minutes to go. Wait a minute. It's Brian Urlacher. Did he do no wrong? A a touchdown. Holder Brad Maynard, the punter, hits Urlacher, and the Bears have a 17-13 lead.
The first thing that strikes you defensively, you have to see Urlacher go in motion, be ready to make the adjustment. You see the guy chasing was the guy over his head. That's the coverage guy. You got to run all the way across the formation. You got to anticipate it when you see the motion.
Urlacher says, you know, Paul Edinger, you're the kicker. You spike it. So can Washington come back 2.5 to go. Tony Banks to Rod Gardner, 17 yards. Next play, Banks to Zarin Flemister for 11 yards. Then a minute and a half to go. 3rd and 1 at the 4. Banks. Walter Rasby, it's incomplete. Next play, 4th and 1. Banks. Rod Gardner, triple covered, trying to make something happen. It didn't.
Yeah, it looks like Mike Green grabs the back of his jersey right there. You're very seldom going to get that call at the end of a football game. Got to make the play.
And the Bears take a safety. Here's the free kick. It's this dangerous Eric Metcalf. Fakes the lateral. He's trying to make something happen, but it's a fumble. And Mike Green, who was in there on the coverage in the play you just described, Tom, is there to...
Throw a salad in.
Oh, gee, would you like creamy Italian or vinaigrette? That was Mount Washington and Keith Tractor Trailer. It's the holidays. It's tough to run on them. They give up about 3 yards a carry today. And the Chicago Bears keep on chugging. They're 11-3. After the game, Jaws with the touchdown machine, Mr. Urlacher.
Thank you very much, Boomer. Brian Urlacher, a touchdown off a fake field goal. Tell us about it.
We've been working on it all week long. We just put it in for the Redskins. They're so tight on their coverage. And then what a great throw by Brad, and he's having to catch it, and he's in the end zone. It was a great play.
All right, late in the game, the Redskins driving to tie it up, 2nd and 1. You knife through, make another big play down inside the 10-yard line. Big play, wasn't it?
Our D-line did a great job all day long. You know, they had some yards on us early. So we kept grinding. We make some plays, and we ended up making some plays in the second half.
The speed of this defense, they seem to be everywhere. Is that the key?
Yeah, we just got guys that play hard. You know, we run around for 60 minutes making plays, and it's just fun right now.
All right, Brian, good luck in the playoffs. Back to you, Boomer.
Jaws, Brian, Jaws and Santa never together. I don't know.
Jaws never yelled that loud.
I tell you what,
Santa never yelled that loud.
7-3 now, the Bears, who maintain their hold on first place in the NFC North Division, doing what they've done all year. They dusted off an old play, and it was enough to win.
When you talk about teams who picked up on the Ravens' game plan from last year, being careful with the football, 13 of 26 for less than 100 yards for Jim Miller, going to run the ball for about 120. And I think the key is they play such outstanding rush defense. As you said, about 3 yards or just less than 3 yards a carry. It puts you in every football game, and that's why they've won a lot of close football games. They're all going to be close when you play the style that the Chicago Bears do.
At Detroit, they host Jacksonville, 2 games they can win. By the way, Washington, remember they were 0-5, made a real good run for Marty.
Yes.
They were eliminated from the playoffs by the results on this day. Meanwhile, team, you have to go something to eliminate them. Marshall Faulk and the St. Louis Rams. Kurt Warner, Mike Martz. What will the mad scientists have whipped up today? Warner's pass to Flood. Now, last year, Carolina swept St. Louis. The big play in one of their wins and intercepted by this man, Jimmy Hitchcock. He's starring in another one of his own films. They had a bye week. They're ready for the Rams. Carolina, could the 1-12 Panthers pull a shocking upset? Well, Chris Winky Dinky does it. Isaac Bird, 27 yards. Rams in trouble. They're behind 7-0.
Probably could never make it up.
So in the first quarter, what do you think? Yeah, Marshall, 9 yards. Marshall Faulk. Later in the drive, 9's not enough for Marshall. So here's the delayed draw, 20 yards. 3rd and 3 from the 6 later in the drive. Kurt Warner, one of the unsung receivers that they have. Ricky Prohl shampoos his way to the back of the end zone, 6 yards. We're tied at 7. My God, the Rams have come back. Panthers lead, though, 10-7. And Warner to Torrey Holt. Comes back for it. He's a 1,000-yard receiver this year. Later in the drive, Faulk outside left, and boom, he decides to cut in.
Well, I love the variety of ways that Marshall Faulk can get into the end zone. Right there, he decided to show us a little power running.
Score 14-10, and then watch the Rams. Snap is high, Dre Bly picks it up, and he's going to to Dexter McCleon for the score. Rams improvising on the run, and there was more to it than you just saw. They lead at 21-10, Tom. And first of all, John Casey, What?
When did you notice that the ball isn't there? But a great job by the Rams of pushing the holder off the football, allowing Dexter to pick it up, allowing Dre Bly to pick it up, rather, and then lateral it to Dexter McCleon. This is fun football now that the Rams are playing defensively.
So McCleon started the play against the holder. Sauerbrunn, and ended with the touchdown. Meanwhile, Marshall, he could go all the way. 70 of his 202 yards right there. Another 1,000-yard season for Marshall Faulk, and here's the block.
Yeah, James Hodgins right there with the kick-out block, and you see the anticipation of Marshall Faulk hitting the hole at the exact same time that you're getting the kick-out block. That's a great offensive play by the Rams.
So and give the Panthers credit. You know, they hung with the Rams. They've won only... Yeah, they won their only game in the summer, and 0 for 12 fall. They could have a winning winner if they win their last 2 games, but Falk and the Rams just too much. And the NFC West champ, whoever it is, we don't know if the Rams have actually won the thing. They will have a first-round.
Yeah, not much to complain about if you're Mike Martz. However, they did lose the battle of the turnover for the first time in a month today, and I think it's something he'll want to correct as they go down the stretch.
And here's what the Rams have done. They finished their road season this year by winning them all. Since the merger, they've become only the 6th team to win them all on the road. Now, one of those years was a strike year, so Washington only had 5 road games. But the 90 and 89 and 84 Niners, 82 Skins, and the 72 Dolphins, who didn't lose even on the moon, they're the ones that have done it before the Rams. Of the 5 previous teams, 4 of them went on to win the Super Bowl.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
Well, pretty much a playoff game between the Saints and the Bucs. 7-6 Saints under Jimmy Haslett. 7-6 Bucs under Tony Dungy. And going into the game, there were 1,537 kickoff returns in the history of the Tampa Bay Bucs in 26 years. None had gone for a touchdown. Don't tell me it's going to happen. Aaron Steckler could go for the longest kickoff return in Buc history. Of course, it wasn't a touchdown, but he gets down to the 14-yard line. And then, following an unheard of break on the kickoff, Brad Johnson to Carl the Truth Williams. Tampa Bay with a lead, Tommy, early on. 3rd down following Saints possession. Aaron Brooks, plenty of time, but wrong guy. Rondé Barber, Bucs in business at the 12. 4 plays later, they're at the 1. Who are you going to give it to? Mike Alstott. Touchdown. 14-0 Bucs. First 13 games, the Bucs have 1 first quarter touchdown. Today they had 2. What a difference that's going to make all the way around.
Yeah, and when you talk about the Bucs defense, it stepped up today as well. Great gang tackling by this defense. They swarmed to the football. They put pressure on Aaron Brooks here, forcing him up the middle, out of the pocket. This is what Tony Dungy expected when he got a chance to play with the lead, which he thought he would most of the year. They got it today, and you see Warren Sapp coming to the forefront along with Anthony McFarland. They had a great day from their front 7, their front 4.
Let's see. Defense, awesome. Offense, scoring. Where has this been? Johnson to Alstott, making 2 guys miss and spinning, taking guys for a few yards, but you ain't seen nothing yet. Watch Alstott right here. Whoop! And then whoop! And then whoop! And then whoop! He scores! My God! He's a veritable load!
Yeah, it's worth seeing again. There's the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th and the 8th guy coming. A great 15-yard run. You know, I'm worried about him doing the Jim Marshall because he's always got his head spinning around the wrong way.
101 yards today for Alstott, and then give him a rest. Swing it to Warwick Dunn. He was knocked down, swimming upfield, and into the end zone. It's 30-0 at the half. Tampa Bay in a laugh for the Saints on the road after a Monday night game. A tough spot, and they weren't expecting this. And then more. Brad Johnson to Dave Moore. Touchdown, 39-14. Then a week after his brother Bill got hurt, this is just a normal injury of Martin Gramatica pulling his right hamstring while making the extra point. And so he's out. John Lynch is going to kick off. think Warren Sapp also can do some kicking. Not bad for Lynchy, the jack of all trades. Then over 2 minutes to go, Brooks picked off by Rondé Barber, his third pick of the game. And it's a touchdown with no kicker. The Bucs felt bad, but they actually had to go for 2, and they made it. The most points they scored under Tony, 48-21. The Tampa Bay Bucs, in the history of the new sombrero, open since '98. December and January, including playoffs, now 10-0. They have 2 home games yet to come. They control their destiny for a playoff spot. Afterwards, Mike Allstott with the hammer.
Straight downhill, pounding the football. That's what the Buccaneers know how to do best, and we stuck with it, and we got some great turnovers from our defense, and we put some points on the board early, so we were able to run the ball.
I guess you had that one run that you told me that you broke 7 tackles on it. Were you able to count those?
I don't recall. I'm just trying to get in the end zone. That's all I know best.
But, Mike, this is your kind of day, right? In terms of, you guys get a lead, as you said, give you the ball, you're happy.
Physical, tough-nosed, smash-mouth football. That's what we like, and that's when the Buccaneers are on, that's what we'd like to do best, and just a good day.
And remember, you got, I'll remind you, you got Baltimore and Philadelphia coming up.
2 tough games. Our back's against the wall still, but we're in the driver's seat. And we come here at home and win those games, and we'll be sitting pretty. But still a long road ahead of us. So have a good Christmas.
All right, you too, Mike. Thanks. And you too, Boomer.
Well, you too, Hammer, back at you. Good hands with Allstott. They had a home game earlier in the year against Minnesota. And then this one, but where has this been? This is the Bucs team. They play like this.
Correct.
They're legitimate contenders,
Yeah,
which we all thought they'd
certainly
be, Tom.
Tony Dungy wants to play this style of football. He wants to be a very physical football team, pound it out. He wants to run more than he throws. He was able to do that today. You had the 39 rushes for 157 yards, most of it by Mike Allstott. 31 passes from Brad Johnson. That's manageable for him, even though he only threw for about 50%. He's certainly more comfortable. No sacks today, no INTs. It's the style of ball that they want to play. Play with the lead all of a sudden. Then the Simeon Rice acquisition doesn't look bad when you got the nice lead.
2 home national TV games for the Bucs. Neither easy. Home to Baltimore Saturday night. Home to Philly on the final Sunday night, which may be a playoff preview. Could be Bucs, Eagles again. Saints still in it, but now it's Tampa Bay that controls that slot at 8-6. And we return the late games, only a couple of them. Cowboys, Cardinals, and San Francisco out against Philly. That was Emmett on first, Emmett on second. Now, look, this is early in the game. Quincy Carter on third, rolling out. As he fumbles, and then he fumbles, and Tommy, what a break.
Well, you can see Quincy Carter fumbles the ball right there short of the goal line. Now that ball rolled into and through the end zone. Referee made an outstanding call right there. It's a touchback. Ball belongs to the Cardinals.
And then miscue in the one front line came back to haunt him, and then Reginald McKinnon intercepts Carter and returns it for a touchdown. So Dallas controlling it, but Arizona leads at 7-3. Jake Plummer. Now watch the moves that Frank Sanders makes right here. Not only shakes off defenders, cuts there, so dangerous in the open field, and he's going to go down to the one front line. Setting up a touchdown by Michael Pittman, 14-10 Cards. Now 17-10, less than 40 seconds to go. Carter Reggie Swinton pushed out of bounds. And then the clock keeps on ticking.
It certainly seemed like he was forced out of bounds. The referee kept the clock going.
And then Carter to Swinton again. They're at the 42. And then what do you do here on this Hail Mary, Tom?
Get down!
And there were a lot of guys in position for Dallas, but Arizona as well. See, the cousin of the Swamp, Kwame, was back there. And the Cardinals. Hey, they still have a shot at an 8-8 season. And the Cardinals went up by the count up 17-10 over the Cowboys. Plummer, not throwing for a lot of yards, but here we go. Let's go to a game with a team that's going somewhere. The Green Bay Packers. Oh, yes. Snow. The North Pole's not far from Lambeau Field. There's some of Santa's helpers. Cleveland Browns go, what are we doing here? We haven't been here in a game since 1965. The final game ever played by Jim Brown. It was the NFL championship game the last year before they had a Super Bowl. Paul Hornung Jim Taylor, Bob Starr, the Packers won 23-12. So every 36 years, the Browns are at Lambeau, and they watched Amon Green. Not Horning, not Taylor, but Amon Green run for 26.
Well, I love it. The play didn't change either. It was the Packers sweep. Then they went up the middle with Amon, and he's done this all year.
And then Brett Favre rolling right, pumping, and, you know, Bubba Frank's become a big factor this year for the Pack. Favre always loved his tight end with Chewy Chimura, and it's 6-0. They don't get the extra point. Then Tim Couch. Ball deflected by Bernardo Harris, intercepted by Bao Ju. I think he makes an excellent play. Ju, and he returns it to the 45. Favre to Bubba Frank. Oh, that's so pretty. Dancing through the snow. For the one hearts open. Butch Davis doesn't want to sing. 13-0. Jamal White fittingly running in the snow. Cleveland have trouble running the ball all year. Jackson and IR, but White with a 51-yard run down to the 8. 3 plays later, when it snows, you need a shovel. So why not have a shovel pass? Couch to White, touchdown, 13-7. Later, the score 16-7 in the second. Couch in the flat to White. Tyrone Williams is there, and he's gone. Shades of Herb Adderley. Shades of Willie Wood. Dancing through the snow. 23-7 Pack. 3 picks of Couch in the game. Brett Doe forced to scramble. Never says die, but he's going to get hit hard on his right hand. You know what? He's going to stay in, even though the ring finger's killing him. However, bad news later in the game after this run by Amon Green. Looks at home in the snow here, Tommy. 42-yard run. He had 150 yards rushing punt. Left the game with labored breathing. No late word other than that. Favre to Dorsey left. Is this classic Packer pass, slide, snow? The Pack are back in the playoffs. Congratulations. They finished so strong last year. They opened up so great in September this year. Green Bay is going to be a force as they win 30-7, but still they're looking at a wild card berth unless the Bears stumble. But Brett Favre is now what? 64-10 at Lambeau Field. The question is, can they get any playoff games at Lambeau Field?
I think actually this is the most dangerous team in the playoffs. Rather than, you know, if we're not talking about the Rams, we're talking about that next team in. I think that this is the most dangerous team in the playoffs because they have Brett Favre. And on any given day, he can be the best player in this league. You look at his use now of Bubba Franks at the tight end. They have some depth at running back. They have Amon Green, who may be running as well as anybody in the league. They also have Dorsey Levens and a defense that's been solid almost every single game this year. So when you start looking for, as Sterling would say, that chink in the armor, you don't really see one on this ball club unless Brett has one of those bad days.
Well, he can, but he's also capable of a good day.
Oh, great
days.
days.
An intriguing game in the playoffs. Next week they host Minnesota. They'll play a good game, won't they?
Yes.
No, I'm not talking.
No, I'm talking about Green Bay.
Yeah.
I don't know who you're talking about. I'm talking about Green Bay.
We'll sum up the playoff situation when we can. And game ball when we return on NFL Primetime.
Time Players is brought to you by 1010-220. Dial it, and all calls up to 20 minutes are only 99 cents.
Boom, my game ball goes to Rondé Barber, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Outstanding day by everybody defensively, but he, 3 INTs, 36-yard interception return for a touchdown, 2 tackles. Doesn't get better than that.
Well, we've seen him, Tommy, do it on defense. We've seen him run all over the field, but not so much on special teams. Brian Urlacher and the amazing Chicago Bears, he gets my game ball. 9 sacks, all told, and pretty close both. Cordell and Urlacher and Marshall with 200 yards. Allstock bowling over guys like Dick Weber used to bowl over pins. Here's what we know. New England, with the results of today, are in the playoffs. Boy, what a run they've made. Pittsburgh clinched the first round bye. That's really what happened in the AFC. Ravens and Dolphins can clinch next week with wins. Jets win can eliminate 4 teams tonight. The Packers are in. Congratulations to them. But really some things. Minnesota was eliminated, Tom. I know you're upset about that. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, bro.
15 years we've been together. Dashing through the snow. For Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. From all of us, Merry Christmas. And...
Jim, as we always talk about, it's going to be critical to see who made what adjustments at halftime to come out and try to be more successful.
Snow picking up. The kick goes out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. 14-10, Clemson at the intermission. But it's again a seesaw contest as the Bulldogs scored first on that 29-yard field goal by Josh Scobie. Jack
Kick out of bounds by the kicking team. Offense has chose to put the ball on the 35-yard line. First down.
Just a couple of seconds ago, Heather Cox with Coach Jack Bicknell.
Thanks, Jim. Coach, you're just 30 minutes away from your first bowl win in 11 years. What did you tell the team during half?
Well, I told them we're doing a real good job. The field conditions were tough in the beginning of the game, and now the field conditions seem to be getting better. I told our defense we're doing a great job. They had one big play on, and other than that, we did a good job. So hopefully we're going to come out and play hard and try to win this game.
Best of luck in the second half. Back to the booth.
Snow really picking up here as we are tucked between the Rocky Mountains and the start of the Front Range. 14:52 to go, a 4-point deficit for the Bulldogs. Second and 3, spotted just shy of the 42-yard line. Big hole over the right side. Watkins, Kyle Young, and Will Merritt doing the blocking for Rembert.
I think we're going to see a lot more running this second half because this rain is starting to come down and freeze. But you can see those guys up front, those three guys, Young at the center, Watkins and Merritt, doing a great job up front, opening holes straight ahead for Rambert.
Spotted just shy of the 47-yard line, and that time Rambert gets chopped down. Good penetration by that 3-4 defense of Tom Masala in his third year as the defensive coordinator.
We can see right off the bat, Clemson comes out and they want to establish the run the second half. Louisiana Tech, they've got to swell up. They're undersized in that front seven. They've got to jump around a little bit, try to get in some gaps.
Dantzler 6 out of 11 in the first half, 92 yards. First one to start the second half is complete at about the 42-yard line to number 82, Jackie Robinson.
Good job of closing on the ball by Jason Alford, the cornerback. He's had a good year for him. He's very quick, very fast. Actually second in the WAC in terms of pass breakups.
Stats on Woody and that 4-point advantage for the Clemson Tigers. Derek Hamilton. Well, we talked at the very top about him stepping up as a runner.
They just barely got this play off. Watch Dantzler take a hit right at the end, but he stands in there, takes the shot, throws the ball downfield. Hamilton does a good job of beating pure man coverage. Michael Johnson, the defensive back, allows him inside.
Big hole right over the middle as Kyle Young, Will Merritt, and Gary Bird go to work again. 59, 50, and 79 respectively. Jerome Wallace on the stop, number 41, out of Farmersville High School back in Farmersville, Louisiana, the Soch major.
And those three linemen in the middle, Watkins, Young, and Merritt, all conference players. T.J. Watkins, honorable mention, all ACC. Those guys are strong and powerful.
Off of 2nd and 3, inside the 10, barreling down near the 6, goes to Bernhard Rembert again, that experienced offensive line.
And you can see those guys in the middle. A lot of starts, 39 starts for Kyle Young, but that's where the strength of this line is, right in the middle.
Dancing down near the 5 goes Rembert again. One of the things Brad Scott wanted to do was control the blitz of the Bulldogs, but that offensive front, at least on this first possession for Clemson, asserting themselves very well.
This is a good drive coming out of the locker room. They want to come out and establish themselves on the ground, make Louisiana Tech focus on the running game. Then that's going to help open up the passing game for Woody Dantzler.
Jasmine in the backfield on 2nd and goal. Woody wide open, his 3rd scoring strike of the game. Ben Hall, the tight end, with his 8th catch of the season and his 3rd touchdown out of Welford, South Carolina. 2 touchdown tosses today to freshmen.
And that was set up by the running game. They were able to pound them all the way down the field. Now Tech is thinking run. Danzler rolls to the right. Everybody tries to rally to him, and then Ben Hall just sneaks back on the other side, and there's nobody around him. Those tight ends play a huge factor in the red zone.
He went to Burns High School back in Welford, South Carolina. Keep your eye on a wide open number 87, the freshman, 6'5", 240. Ben Hall, touchdown, Clemson.
You are an online trader. You live by spreadsheets, rely on real-time stock quotes, crunch financial forecasts. You need more memory, big man. Don't let your system slow you down. A memory upgrade from Crucial.com can speed up your computer so you can grab the bull market by the horns. You are an online trader. Crucial.com.
In a hurry with quick study videos, guaranteed. Quick study videos are videos that teach you how to really use the most important computer programs in the working world. Again, they'll teach you WordPerfect, Excel, Lotus, DOS, Windows, Microsoft Word. Here's what's going to happen in the next half hour. We'll give you more information about these videos, and then you'll see how easy they are to use. We're not just going to tell you that the videos work. We'll actually prove it by teaching you how to make these great-looking graphs in Excel. It'll take about 3 minutes for you to learn to make these graphs. And once you know how, you can make these graphs yourself in about 10 seconds. Then later on, we'll prove it again by teaching you how to put these colorful pictures into your letters and reports with Microsoft Word. It only takes a few minutes to learn, and once you know how, you can do it in just seconds. And if you can learn to make these graphs and learn to add these pictures to your letters, you can learn to do anything in the videos. Right now, we're going to hear from some people like you and me, people who need to know how to use computers. We wanted people's honest reactions to our videos, so we ran a classified ad in our local newspaper offering free videos in exchange for their comments. They received no money. We wanted the answers to 4 questions. Why do you want to learn computers? Why haven't you taken any classes? Why don't you just read the manual? And now that you've learned something from quick study videos, what's your reaction? Why do you want to learn computers?
Well, employers want you to know all of this.
More and more, you have to be computer literate to be considered for the position.
Well, if you look in the newspaper, everybody wants you to know WordPerfect and Lotus. A lot of them require you have Lotus, have WordPerfect.
It's essential. You can't do the job without it.
You read the classified ads, they're looking for real specifics right now. And if you don't have them, they don't even want to talk to you.
Just a cold, hard fact.
Why not take one of those night classes?
Right now, because they have 3 little kids at home.
I could not work that into my schedule.
I have a family, though, and that's what's been holding me up. I've got a 2-year-old, and so that's...
It's the time commitment again.
Don't like to take the time out at night to do that. I'd rather be with my family.
Why not just read the manual?
I don't like manuals. Sometimes they're kind of confusing. Sometimes you get stuck on a terminology. Well, that's terrible. They go on and on. They just don't tell me how to do it.
Now that you've learned something from quick study videos, what's your reaction?
I was surprised.
I wouldn't have believed it until I saw it.
It's easy. Save a lot of time.